works best. It's slimming, easy to accessorize, and looks crisp and corporate in any work environment. If the company is more conservative, choose a white or cream-colored blouse. If it's creative, wear a colorful one, or even add a scarf. Always wear plain-colored hose and stylish below-heeled pumps. And don't carry a purse. Get yourself an attaché-type folder. It has a flap that keeps your resume clean and unbent, plus a place for a pen and notepaper. There's nothing more distracting than searching for a pen in your purse. You don't have to spend $1 million for one. You can get one at any drugstore. Make sure your hair is neat. If it's unruly, tie it back. Always wear simple jewelry and never wear perfume. You never know, you might smell like his ex-wife. Now, you might be thinking, but that's not my style. Ladies, you're dressing for the interview, not necessarily the job. In an employer's mind, the way you look now is the best you're ever going to look because everybody puts their best foot forward for the interview. A resume provides a wealth of information beyond the actual experience. It demonstrates your attention to detail, proofreading ability, writing skills, creativity, and pride in your work. Make it clear and easy to read. Don't be afraid to use that bold or underline function on your computer. It'll highlight significant features about yourself, like a job title, a well-known company that you've worked for, or maybe even a particular school or training course you've taken. And it's perfect for highlighting computer software packages. Now, unless you have 20+ years of experience, keep it to one page. Don't take up too much space on a position you had 5 years ago. Save that space for more current experience. When interviewing for administrative assistant type position, keep it generic. This will allow you to interview in practically every industry. For example, don't have your resume read typed sales and marketing reports. Have it read typed and edited industry-specific documents. The first way states a specific industry. The second one does not. Some positions aren't going to call for sales marketing experience, but you can bet all are going to need typing and editing skills. As an administrative assistant, you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into one industry. There's a lot of great variety out there. Allow yourself to explore it. Always have a separate reference sheet that has at least 2 former supervisors, someone who can talk about your abilities firsthand. It's also a good practice to include 2 coworker or peer references. This allows an employer to assess your team playing skills. And remember, always bring at least 3 original copies of your resume to an interview. How you enter the interview says a lot about you, your comfort level and confidence in a new situation. More than likely, you'll be greeted by the receptionist. Treat them with respect. They have a lot more influence than you might think. Often the employer will ask their impression of you. Be friendly and only engage in conversation if they do. Even then, be brief. As you leave the lobby, don't forget to thank them. When you enter the employer's office, extend your hand first and introduce yourself. Let the employer motion for you to sit down. Employers like to feel that they're in charge. When the interview is finished, the employer will more than likely stand. You immediately do the same. Ask for their business card. This is not only standard, but professional. Simply say, "May I have one of your cards for my files?" Besides being professional, it subtly lets them know that you're interviewing elsewhere. Without fail, get a short thank you note out within 24 hours. This is the final touch of the interview process. It'll be your last chance to interact with them before they make their selection. You'd be surprised the number of candidates that don't do this. Writing a thank you note demonstrates thoroughness plus good manners. It also shows the employer your writing and proofreading ability. You can either email or type and mail one. If you've just interviewed with a technology company, go the email route. If not, type a solid business letter. Don't send a cutesy handwritten card. It's so 80s. I hope by now you know the absolute necessity of being prepared for your interview. It's going to be the key to landing that offer. The more you practice, the more confident and comfortable you'll be. As a result of that practicing, your answers are going to be natural, quick, and fluid. You're going to feel comfortable and ready to handle any interview situation, whether the employer is tough, serious, difficult to read, or even super casual and funny. Let's take a look at an actual interview.
Good afternoon. Come on in.
Hi, Caitlin O'Connor.
Jack Hansen. Please
Nice
come
to
in.
meet-
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Well, before we get started, can I offer you some water? Coffee, something?
No, nothing, thank you.
We got a little tied up here. I'm sorry we had to push your interview back, but thanks for being flexible.
No problem. I pride myself on being flexible.
Flexible is good around here, let me tell you. Now, I've got your resume, but it doesn't tell the whole story, and sometimes it's good to start by having you tell me a little bit about yourself and maybe what kind of a job you're looking for.
Sure. I'm originally from Seattle, Washington. After I graduated college from UCLA, I started working at a law firm in Century City. I learned a lot there. It was really my baptism under fire. I became proficient in both the PC and the Mac, and I quite frankly enjoyed it. It was my first real introduction to the business world.
Great. Sounds good.
Oh, as far as the kind of job I'm looking for, I'm interested in a solid administrative assistant position with a creative, dynamic company.
Well, this is that kind of a place. Tell me, are you working now?
Yes.
Tell me about your current job.
My current job? Sure. I'm currently working for a mergers and acquisitions firm in Century City, and I was originally hired to work for 2 individuals in the finance department.
What do you like about what you're doing now? What's your favorite task?
My favorite. I love it when we all get in the office and the pistons are firing, when we have a project due and everybody gets in there and rolls up their sleeves and we get it done. I especially love the computer projects. The platform presentations that we put together have to be letter perfect.
What were your least favorite parts of this job?
Well, everyone has a least favorite part of their job, but I guess if I had to choose, I would say that it's probably tracking the guys down, whether they forget to tell me that they're going to a meeting or neglect to put something on their calendars. So what I did is I asked them to shoot me an email to let me know what they were doing, and then that way they didn't have to track me down.
Caitlin, I see you've worked for multiple people. Tell me, how do you prioritize between, say, Tom or Harry on any given day?
Well, I'm a list maker, and I've found that in order to work for more than one person, you have to be good at prioritizing. It all comes down to the job content and knowing the personalities of each individual. So let's say Tom or Harry come to me and they both have something that they need me to do. I would first ask them if they needed it today or if somebody needed it tomorrow. And if they both happen to need it at the same time, I would have to say I'd feel completely comfortable with bringing in a coworker to help me get the job done.
In this office, we have a lot of different personalities, and frankly, sometimes some of them can be a little difficult. Have you ever worked for a difficult personality?
Plenty of times. I've found that the best way to deal with difficult personalities is to not take anything personally. It's not about you, it's about getting the work done. It's all about feeling secure in who you are and confident in the kind of work that you can do.
You're absolutely right. It's not personal, it's business. We're all under the gun. We just try to do our best. If you came on board here in 3 to 5 years, where would you like to be?
3 to 5 years. That seems a long time away.
Caitlin, it goes by in the blink of an eye.
I know, you're right. It seems just like yesterday that I was in high school, and that was a while ago. I guess, well, none of us really know where we're going to be in 3 to 5 years, do we? But I guess as you can see from my resume, I pride myself on my stability. So what I'm looking for is to stay with the same firm. I'm looking for a home.
The people you'd be assisting here would be happy to hear that. But let's talk about continuing education. Are you thinking about going back to school?
Well, currently I'm not enrolled anywhere, but I've found that if there was a class that I needed to take in order to better myself in my position, I would be happy to do so.
Here's a little different question. What kind of a boss are you looking for?
What kind of a boss am I looking for? Well, I have been very lucky in the past. I've had some great bosses. Not to say that they've always been easy, but we've always had really great working relationships. I would have to say that I really would like my boss to be able to trust me.
I'm sure the people you're working with now, they're going to miss you. If I ran into your former employer on the street, what would he or she have to say about you?
He would say that I was the best assistant he ever had, that my learning curve was virtually zero, that I had very proficient computer skills, and that he wished that I still worked for him.
Okay. If I ran into a coworker on the street, what would they have to say?
I've always made friends where I've worked, so I think that they would say that I was a team player, that I was fun to work with, and that I was smart, but that I knew when to work and when to play. Oh, and also that I have great computer skills.
Tell me, what's your greatest achievement?
My greatest achievement. Well, I think my greatest achievement in the work arena would be the time when I was in school, in a very difficult program at school, and also doing an internship, a very tough internship. It was difficult but challenging and very rewarding. On a personal front, I would have to say it was when my dad got very ill, and I had to end up going home and helping my family take care of him. I got him into a home and got my family settled. I really felt good, though, because I felt like the rock for my family.
You absolutely sound like the Rock of Gibraltar.
Thank you.
And I know you're with a good company now. Tell me, why are you leaving?
You know, I've loved working there, and I've really enjoyed the people that I've worked with. But I have to say I've kind of outgrown the position. My computer skills have improved dramatically, and I've learned how to deal with very difficult executives. I'd have to say I'm ready for a step up. It's kind of like moving from milk crates as furniture to real tables.
That's great. Tell me, why do you want to work here?
Well, I've always wanted to work for a solid, creative, dynamic company such as yours. And I've researched this company recently on the internet, and I downloaded a lot of information about it. I really, really enjoyed the website. It had a personal bio on everyone in the company and the deals that they were doing at the time. I think that my experience in previous working environments has helped prepare me to work in this kind of industry. I'd have to say I would be a tremendous asset to this company.
Sounds like a match. Tell me, what's the most difficult situation you've had to deal with in the workplace? And can you give me an example?
Sure. Well, for a while, the finance department where I work at my company was experiencing a lot of growth. So they were hiring on a lot of new administrative assistants. And what was happening is I was ending up training them all. However, once I would train one, then another one would leave. So it became difficult and slightly frustrating to watch everyone go. I'd have to say that that's where my flexibility and patience paid off.
Well, let me ask you something a little more mundane. Are you able to work overtime?
Absolutely. Having worked in a law firm and also a mergers and acquisitions firm, it's all about overtime. And last-minute overtime to boot.
I wonder what it was like when all you had to do was type 60 words a minute and take shorthand. Now it's PowerPoint, Quark Express, and Excel.
But if you grew up with a computer, as I did, then it's no big deal.
Thank God for the computer literate. I think everybody has to be really up to speed on computers now, unless you're the boss. I know you said you grew up on a computer, and I know you have strong computer skills, but tell me, exactly what kind of documents have you produced?
My computer skills are very strong. In fact, I'm proficient in all of Microsoft Office, including the Access database. I do macros, subscripts, mail merges, and manuscripts. I would have to say that if you handed me a document, I could bang it out no problem.
All right. What are your greatest strengths?
My greatest strength, I would have to say definitely my ability to get along with lots of different personalities. Certainly my advanced computer skills. And the fact that this isn't a stepping stone for me. I really enjoy the administrative assistant role.
Okay, now give me the flip side to that. Tell me what your weaknesses might be.
Goodness, my weaknesses. Well, I have to admit that there are a lot of times I'd rather be spending my time and energy on a PowerPoint presentation than, let's say, faxing a 1,000-page document to Europe. However, it's part of the job description, and it's what I signed on to do.
What do you like to do in your spare time?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing taxing. I like to relax. I'm a bit of an outdoorsy kind of person. I like to go to the beach and play outside, and I like to go to the movies too. Twice a month, I volunteer at the animal shelter.
No golf?
No golf. I do play tennis, though.
I think I might know the answer to this next question. If you were going to change something about yourself, what would you like to do?